We're coming to chapter 11 now, and chapter 11 is a long chapter. There's a lot of back and forth. I'm not going to go into detail about the king of the north and the king of the south. This is history. It's Greek history, which concerned the Jews because the Greek king of the north, Syria, fought against the Greek king of the south, Egypt. There were wars back and forth for a couple hundred years, and Daniel details those. If you're interested in that, there's a lot of other Bible guys that'll tell you exactly who these kings are. I'm just not going to go into that detail, but I'm going to try and muddle through some of this. So Daniel chapter 11, we're continuing on with what Daniel started in chapter 10. So he's got this last dream, and we saw that after the kingdom of Persia, the king of Greece is going to come, or the princes. So these spiritual powers are there, and Michael and this other angel that Daniel's talking with are fighting against these Satan's guys. So in chapter 11, verse 1 through 2. Also in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood up to confirm and strengthen him. And now I will show you the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Greece. So in the first year of Darius the Mede, this angel stood up to confirm and strengthen the Persian king, or the Median king. So that's kind of interesting. So it was in God's plan to end the Jews' punishment in Babylon and to set up the kingdom of the Medes and the Persians. So this was not Satan's plan, this is God's plan. After that, 3 more kings were going to arise in Persia. So in that vision where they had the bear with 3 ribs in his mouth, well, it's the fourth one's going to be far richer than they all. So that's why I think he's talking about this bear with the 3 ribs. 3 of them had come and gone, but the fourth one was going to be the one that is at the end when they fight against Greece. So that was going to be the most powerful one. That's what we have in verse 2. Verses 3 and 4. And a mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the 4 winds of heaven, and not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion, which he ruled. For his kingdom shall be plucked up even for others beside these. And we talked about that. That's Alexander the Great is going to rule this kingdom of Greece with great dominion, but his kingdom wasn't left to his posterity. He didn't have kids to leave his kingdom to, so it was given to his 4 generals. And we're not going to learn anything about 2 of the generals, but from here for quite a while, we're going to read about the king of the north and the king of the south. So it's these families. In the north, it is Seleucia, so the Seleucid Empire. So it's their family line. In the south, it's Ptolemy and his family line in the area of Egypt. So we got these 2 families that have a certain amount of power, and they're going to be fighting against each other, which means they're going to be fighting all the time inside of Israel. So starting with verse 5, and the king of the south will be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion, and in the end of years they shall join themselves together. So that's the king of the north and the south. For the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of her arm, neither shall he stand, nor his arm, but she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times. But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail, and also carry captives into Egypt their gods, their princes, with their precious vessels of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So again, this fight's going on between the king of the north and south. Sometimes they try and make a treaty, and maybe the daughter of one of the kings goes to marry the other king, but none of that works out. They just keep fighting. 9 to 12. So the king of the north shall come into his kingdom and shall return into his own land. But his sons shall be stirred up and shall assemble a multitude of great forces. And one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up even to his fortress. The king of the south shall be moved with choler and shall come forth and fight with him, even the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given in his hand. And when he hath taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s, but he shall not be strengthened by it. The war goes on between the king of the north and the king of the south and their sons. So 13 through 20. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and much riches. In those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of thy people, so that would be Israel, shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fail. So the king of the north shall come and cast up a mountain and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall be there any strength to withstand. But he shall come against him and shall do according to his own will. None shall stand before him, and he shall stand in the glorious land Israel, which by his hand will be consumed. And he shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter of women corrupt in her, but she shall not stand by his side, neither before him. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles. That's not necessarily islands, that's just other areas around there. And shall take many. But a prince for his own behalf shall cause a reproach offered him to cease. Without his own reproach he shall cause it to turn upon him. So again, the prince is the spiritual power. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Verse 20, then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom, but within few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. What's happening here is Rome is rising. This king of the north has lost a great battle. The new guy comes in, raises taxes in Israel to pay. He lost to Rome, so now he's got to pay a whole bunch of money to Rome. In order to pay this guy, in order to have any money for himself, he's got to raise some taxes. So that's what's happening in verse 20. We go 21 and 22. And in his estate, so again, in his line, in this king of the north line, shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of a flood they shall be overflown before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. This is kind of the short version. 2 verses here describe what's going to happen through the rest of chapter 11. So there's going to be this vile person, this king of the north, that's going to take over. There's 3 forays. You're going to see 3 different battles. So in 23 to 28 is one battle, and 28 to 39 is another battle. Then from 40 to 45 is his final battle. And this is just going to be confusing as it can be, because there are 2 different things going on here. Some of it is talking about the first Antichrist, that Antiochus Epiphanes. So this Seleucid king of the north is going to be talking about a time way back in history, a couple hundred years before Christ. Part of it's going to be talking about this new guy that's going to come in and take away the sacrifice. So in the future Roman Empire, this guy's going to come in and he's going to take away the covenant from the prince. We learned the prince of the covenant, that 7-year treaty. He's going to come in and say, I'm going to take over now. So whoever was in charge before, it doesn't matter. I'm in charge of this Roman Empire now. So that's what these first 2 verses show. And so we're going to struggle between, was that history or is that future in these other battles?